Hi, it's Anthony from Over 40 Health and Fitness. I've got a question for you. It's a question you've possibly asked yourself once or twice before. What were you doing a year ago? Just think about that for a second. What were you doing 1 year ago? If you're unhappy with your life, or you're unhappy with your weight, or your physical situation, or your job situation, or your life situation, what were you doing 1 year ago? Has anything changed in the last 12 months? What about 2 years? Go back 2 years. Has anything changed in the last 2 years? How about 5 years? What about a decade? Has anything changed in the last decade? Have you gotten more overweight in the last 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, 1 year? Has your life become more unhappy over that time? Have you become depressed, perhaps? Are you in a job that you hate? Are you in a job for the last 12 months, 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years that you hate? You've got to ask yourself that question from time to time. And if the answer to that question is, well, nothing's changed in the last 12 months, and no, I'm not happier. I'm not happier from 12 months ago, or 2 years ago, or 5 years ago, or a decade ago. Nothing's changed. I'm getting more overweight. I'm getting more out of shape. I'm getting more unhappy. I'm less satisfied with my life and my job and other things in my existence than probably ever before. This is the hard bit. A little fairy is not going to come up and tap you on the shoulder and tell you everything's going to be okay, because I'm going to make your life okay. I'm going to make all your hopes and dreams come true. That's not going to happen. You know that. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. You know that. The only way that things will get better for you is if you make a change. If you look at the big picture and think, look, I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to make a change. After nearly 10 years out of school, I'd had a bunch of different jobs. I had worked consistently as a car salesman for a lot of that time, the first 10 years out of school, nearly 10 years. I'd worked as a bouncer. I'd had some other crappy jobs. And I wasn't entirely satisfied with my life either. I was bodybuilding, and I'd been into bodybuilding competitions with mixed success, and I'd learned a lot about myself. I was in an okay position, happiness-wise, but I certainly was not as happy as I wanted to be. And so I decided to up and leave my hometown of Newcastle, and I moved to Bondi Beach. It was only a couple of hours away, but it was like a whole new world in Bondi. I was still in my 20s. I was still young. I was healthy. I'd learned a lot about life. I'd been out of school for nearly 10 years. And at that point, it was the greatest thing I'd ever done. Did I walk into the magic job or the dream job, or did I start making tons of money? No, that's not what happened. I had a lot of crappy jobs in Sydney. I had one pretty decent, consistent job for a period of that time. It wasn't a job that paid tons of money, by the way. And I had a lot of shitty, crappy jobs, and some of those jobs were quite dangerous. But I became happy. I had a whole sense of a newer, revitalised sense of happiness within me, because I'd stepped out of what it was a comfort zone that turned into an uncomfort life. That I just can't put into words how much better my life became when I just upped and left Newcastle with not much money. I had no job to go to, but I just took a chance, and that chance actually led me to more opportunities in my life than ever would have come about if I'd stayed where I was. So what I'm trying to say is that magic fairy is not going to come and tap you on the shoulder. You know that. It's up to you. You can do something about it, but you have to make a plan, and you have to stick to that plan, and it is going to require a little bit of dedication, a little bit of effort. And it may take you to some dark places along the way, but you can't stay where you're at if you're unhappy. If you're overweight, unhappy, dissatisfied in your job, dissatisfied in your life, feel like you're going nowhere, whether it's a year, 5 years, 10 years, you have to make a change. And that change will eventually take you to a better place. There's a lot of articles on our website, over40healthfitness.com, that may give you some inspiration, in this regard.